Good morning and welcome back to the garden. Today, my task along with Arthur here is to figure out where to plant all of these seeds that I can't seem to stop buying. Arthur's vote would be all artichokes. It's okay, honey, you can head out. Luckily, there are some plants that we never have to think twice about because they have earned an automatic spot in our garden. And I think they deserve one in yours as well. Let's take a look. Behind me is our little wall of tomatoes here. We're growing about 70 tomato plants and it is still not enough. Fun fact, I could say that we are growing 200 plants and it would still not be enough because it will never be enough tomato plants. And that's because tomatoes are the undisputed king of the home summer garden. And that's because you can do anything with a tomato, right? You can can them, you can turn them into sauces, you can turn them into salsas. Whatever your jam is, a tomato can do it, including making them into jams. The trick is in knowing which types of tomatoes to grow to round out your garden. Make sure you grow one paste variety like San Marzano for canning and sauces, one slicer or beefsteak variety like Paul Robeson or Big Beef Plus for sandwiches, and one cherry tomato like Sun Gold, which is just universally agreed upon as the absolute best thing since sliced bread. Whether you're more of a stuffed bell pepper person or you dream of brewing up your own hot sauce to rival Da Bomb, and yes, I've been watching entirely too much Hot Ones, you're gonna need yourself some pepper plants. But you wanna know the worst kept secret in gardening? Pepper plants are actually surprisingly easy to grow. Plus, look at that. I mean, they are just a pretty plant. I recommend the heirloom variety Jimmy Nardello for your sweet pepper. Bell peppers are cool and all, but wait until you try yourself a Jimmy Nardello. Super Thais for your stir fries and curries, and habaneros for that salsa. So here's a depressing little garden fact for you. Eggplants, these beauties right here, typically don't even make it into the top 10 most popular home veggie plants to grow, which makes no sense because objectively they should be number 3. This isn't an ordered list, but if it was, eggplants would definitely be number 3. There is a good reason that eggplants, also known as aubergine or brinjal, are grown around the world and have been for thousands of years. Now, one thing that a lot of new gardeners don't realize is you can actually grow eggplants super fast, way faster than a vine-ripened sweet pepper. Try the Japanese variety Millionaire and you'll be swimming in grilled eggplants before you know it. Plus, folklore once told of the eggplant's ability to drive the eater insane, so it's got that going for it. These tomatillos round out our group of nightshades today. And the thing about tomatillos is the gardening world hasn't really caught on to them yet. They're still not that popular. But the thing is, everyone I've convinced to try growing tomatillos has been super happy that they did. And why wouldn't they be? A tomatillo is basically like a tougher, easier to grow tomato plant that you can turn into delicious sauces and salsas. Now, I'll admit it, I considered leaving these beauties off the list because, you know, tomatillos just aren't that popular yet. But let me tell you what, they earn their spot in the garden. They earn it. I like to grow the classic Toma Verde variety myself, but fair warning, grow at least 3 tomatillo plants together to get a good harvest. They do not set fruit well if grown alone. Hey there, sorry for the interruption. If you're enjoying this video and if you think it's gonna help you round out your plans for your summer veggie garden, would you mind doing me a favor and hitting that like or thumbs up button or whatever they're calling it these days? Just tremendously helps us out. I really appreciate your support. Thank you so much for watching the video. Let's get back to that summer garden. Just because it's hot outside doesn't mean we suddenly stop wanting to eat leafy greens, right? But at some point in summer, all of those traditional greens like lettuce and spinach and kale, they're gonna bolt, they're gonna go to flower. And that's where this super cool plant comes into play. This is Malabar spinach, but it isn't a spinach variety. It's actually a heat-loving, vining plant native to tropical portions of Asia that starts slow and then explodes into a giant greens-producing machine. In fairness, a lot of folks don't like the texture of these leaves, but I think that is normally down to how you prepare it. So check out my favorite Malabar spinach recipes in the description below. This right here, in addition to looking just so freaking cool, is the best way I know to keep yourself eating fresh greens when those temperatures hit triple digits. I personally like the red Malabar varieties. Kicking off our herb section is the king of summer herbs, basil, whatever, however you pronounce it. It is a rare day that we are not harvesting some basil in the summer. Grow it in the shade, keep it well watered, and it will not let you down. I'm a big fan of the large leaf basil variety because it grows great and it pairs with everything. Plus, look how adorable these little seedlings are. Next up for our herbs, we have the humble parsley plant, and this thing is just so versatile in both the kitchen and the garden. During the height of summer, we are out there harvesting parsley every other day because it just enhances the flavor of so many different types of dishes. And plus, it is such an easy to grow plant to boot. Now, I personally like the stronger flavors of this stuff right here, Italian flat leaf parsley. This is summer savory, and in a pinch, you can use this tragically underrated annual herb to stand in for basically all of the classic perennial Mediterranean herbs. It's a little sweet, a little peppery, and totally amazing. Plus, just look at the darn thing. Herbs have no business looking that good. These plants right here next to our tomatillos are our summer squash. These are the ones that you don't store over winter. Think like zucchini, not acorn squash, and what a cool plant, right? Now the thing I love about zucchini is it can do just about everything. We love zucchini fries, zucchini bread, zucchini relish, and of course, zucchini grilled on the barbecue on a hot summer day. Nothing better. For a variety, I recommend the classic Cocozelle zucchini or green machine for a tougher, faster growing plant. And if you have young kids, the whimsical yellow patty pan is always a hit. This leviathan of a plant right here is summer squash's stately older brother, winter squash. And the thing about this plant is it's a major commitment. They require a lot of space and a lot of time. They're also absolutely worth it. Now, my favorite is probably this black futsu from Japan because it's from a species called moschata, which tends to be super tough. And also the fruits look like something out of a fairy tale. But you can't go wrong with any kabocha if you just want the best flavor. We also always grow an eating pumpkin like Cinderella for making into soups. And let's be honest, you know we're gonna do a carving pumpkin like the variety Charisma. So just like our winter squash, melons like this little fellow right here are a pretty big time commitment. They're also, honestly, a little bit finicky, but they're also completely necessary for every good summer garden. There's just nothing else like slicing open and smelling and tasting that fresh, homegrown melon. It's an experience. I grow in a really hot summer climate, so my personal favorite is this Indian variety Madhu Ras. I also like myself a good orange flesh honeydew. To round out our group of cucurbits, we have the plant I am probably the most obsessed with, cucumbers. These things are amazing. They're probably the ultimate home food garden plant. They grow up a trellis naturally, making them great for small spaces, and they produce prolifically. And I mean, it's a cucumber, right? You can eat them alone, in salads, on sandwiches, pickle them, whatever. They do it all, and there are a million awesome varieties out there. In fact, cucumbers are the only plant on this list I cannot give you a blanket recommendation for in good conscience. Instead, go to Johnny Seeds. No, I'm not affiliated in any way, but the filters on their website will help you find a cucumber variety that is perfect for you. This year, we're growing the varieties Unagi and Corinto from Johnny's in our main garden, and this pickle bush variety from Burpee Seeds, which we'll be growing in our toddler garden because, well, it's adorable. Wrapping up today's list of must-grow summer veggies, we have the always classic, incomparable green bean. You can grow pole beans up a trellis, or bush beans in little compact clumps, and talk about a good use of space. I mean, you could fit 20 bean plants in a little raised bed. They need very little space, or care for that matter, and everyone loves watching them grow. It's hard to beat the green bean for a perfect summer garden plant. Okay, maybe a tomato beats it, but that's just cheating. My personal favorite green bean to grow and eat is the Chinese red noodle bean. They're a super productive pole bean that produces tasty fruit with an amazing texture. Plus, they're really fun to watch grow. What could be better than that? Did I miss anything? Did I miss any of your must-grow plants? Leave a comment below and let me know what made your list. I would love to hear from you. And if you enjoyed this video, I think we'll make another one for perennial plants and probably another one for cool weather vegetables as well. And as always, I hope to see you on the next one. And until then, happy gardening, y'all.